Definition. Now this seems really obvious in some ways. What do we mean by abuse? And in other ways, it's a really confusing subject. And I would almost say that the term abuse is one of the most abused terms today around, right? Because it could mean physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. We've got cultural abuse. All of these things, if you call it abuse, then it makes it important, right? It's terrible. It's an overused word. But when you're setting your policies and procedures for abuse prevention, one of the important things to know would be, well, when we talk about abuse, what do we mean? Because if we don't really agree on what we mean, then how are we going to address it? So simply in your policies and procedures, what you want to have is clear definitions for things like, what does it mean, physical, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, child neglect as part of that, for young children in nurseries and basic care, harassment or improper touching and discipline. And for these things, there are some great prevention plans. Again, for example, Plan to Protect, and Melody's going to be on our panel to talk about that, but great plans that are out there that define things and direct you where to look for definitions and what to put in your prevention plan. And even child protective agencies that have, like children's aid societies, that quote laws and sections of laws that you need to be aware of when you have children in your care. Okay? And the other part of these definitions, too, is to realize that, and I think, for example, in the subject of improper touching and disciplining, some of these are not well understood or different generationally and culturally. Think about that for a second. When I was growing up, it wasn't uncommon to have a Sunday school teacher spank a child in a Sunday school class. Right? Not me, of course, but I heard rumors that, you know, some people got into trouble, right? And culturally, think about affection. Think about some Latin American congregations. You know, we're uptight wasps. You know, we don't show too much affection. We kind of stand stiff. We don't like to stick out too much. You know, in other countries, other cultures, very open, lots of hugs, lots of affection. Problem is, we're in Canada right now. Might be okay at home, but we need to be clear with all our people what's acceptable here. Do you do a front-on hug for 20 seconds with another adult, with a child? Do you hug a child maybe from the side? You know, teachers have lots of good standards now about what's acceptable and what isn't. I wish it was a different world, but the fact is that these are issues now. And you need to define what's acceptable in these categories so that the workers that you're choosing and putting in positions of trust understand them well too.